everyone. Today we are going to start part B of chapter 3. The first topic is nervous system. Now we all know that nervous system is the most developed and most evolved system of our body. Based upon the location, they are divided as a central nervous system CNS and peripheral nervous system PNS. Your brain and spinal cord, they are the organs of the central nervous system. Now peripheral nervous system is also classified into somatic nervous system, which has all voluntary actions, means the works or the actions or the responses which requires your will. Suppose you want to get a bottle of water and you want to drink it. For that means to move your hand you require your will. So in this case, these are your voluntary actions. Then is your autonomic nervous system, which controls all your non-voluntary action, means it will work irrespective whether you has will for it or not, like your breathing pattern, like your regulation of blood pressure, emotional response, and so on. The autonomic nervous system is also further divided into parasympathetic system and sympathetic system. The peripheral nervous system consists of a lot of neurons and a bundle of axons from different neurons which connect the central nervous system with different sense organs, glands, muscles throughout the body. It carries the information from the central nervous system to the muscles in the head and the neck. The next topic is about somatic nervous system. It consists of spinal nerves and cranial nerves. Now cranial nerves, there are 12 sets of it in our body, and there are 3 types of cranial nerves, which is sensory, motor and mixed. The first one, it carries the sensory information from the receptors in the head region and then it carries them towards the brain. Now coming towards the second one, it carries the motor impulses from the brain and to the muscles of the head region. For example, the movements of the eyeballs, they are actually controlled by the motor cranial nerves. The last one is mixed nerves, which helps in both the sensory and the motor information to and from the brain. There are 31 sets of the spinal nerves and it consists of your motor nerves and sensory nerves. There are 2 important functions of it. First, as we know, it consists of the sensory nerves, so it helps to collect all the sensory information all over the body except the head region and it sends them to the spinal cord. From there it gets carried to the brain. The second important function is since there is the motor nerves in it, it helps to get the motor impulses coming down from the brain and send it to respective muscles. The next topic is about autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is concerned with the non-voluntary action in which we don't have a direct control over it, like our internal functions. For example, breathing, our emotional reaction, blood pressure level, and so on. There are 2 classification of it. First is sympathetic division and second is parasympathetic division. Suppose you are walking in a road and suddenly a furious dog started chasing you. Definitely it's a situation of emergency and you require a response which should be quick and powerful. So here the sympathetic division works. It actually helps you to get that energy to fight or flight in that situation. So you started running, for which there are various physiological reaction to it, like your digestion stop, your heart rate goes up, your blood sugar level increases, and so on. After some time, when you look back, you realize that the dog has stopped chasing you. Definitely here the parasympathetic division comes over. It helps to calms you down. It helps to get all those the digestion, the blood sugar level, the heart rate, the breath rate to come to that normal level and calm you down. The next topic is about central nervous system. It is the center of all neural activities, all complex cognitive functions, all sensory and motor information are related to this part. Now there is one topic, brain and behavior. Now I am going to state the most important statements of it. We have to remember the limbic system, the brain stem and the cerebellum. They are the oldest structures of the brain. Cerebral cortex is the latest development in the evolution of brain. Now these are the statements that we have to concentrate from examination point of view. The most important topic of the chapter is structure of the brain. Now brain is divided into three parts. First is your hind brain, then is midbrain and the third one is forebrain. The hind brain consists of three parts. First is medulla oblongata, pons and third is cerebellum. Now for better understanding, I am going to divide the information into three parameters. First is its location, second is what it consists of and the third is function. So medulla oblongata, first is location. So it is the lowest part of the brain, or you can say it is the continuation of the spinal cord. Now it consists of neural centers and centers of autonomic activities as well. Now the functions are, it regulates basic life supporting activities like breathing, blood pressure, heart rate, etc. It is also called as vital center of the brain. The second part is your pons. So the location is that it has midbrain on one side and forebrain on the other side. Now it consists of nuclei and the functions are that it helps to regulate the sleep mechanism, particularly which involves dreaming. It also regulates your respiratory movements and facial expressions as well. The third part is cerebellum. Now it is the wrinkled part of the brain and it is the most developed part of the hind brain. Now it has a lot of function. First is it helps to coordinate the muscular movement. It also helps to and regulates the posture and equilibrium of the body. It also stores the memory of the things that we don't have to concentrate while doing it. For example, how to walk, how to run a bicycle, how to sleep. Definitely when you are going to run, you are not going to just figure out the techniques that my legs should be 45 degree, my hands should be like this and that. It is a very basic activity that we do. So the way of doing this or the procedure of doing this gets stored in your cerebellum. The next topic is midbrain. Now midbrain connects the forebrain and the hindbrain. It consists of different neural centers. They are also connected to different, or you can say, special reflexes which has your auditory and visual sensations in it. An important part of it is RAS, or reticular activating system. So it is responsible for arousal. Now arousal means any stimulus that provoke the organism to give a response or to act upon it. So if your teacher told you that tomorrow is your surprise test and I will make your life hell if you are going to score less, definitely your reaction will be of fear and your action will be that I have to work hard or I have to study till 3 o'clock in the morning to do good in it. So here RAS is responsible for it. It also helps to keep the organism alert and active to the sensory inputs. It helps in selecting information from environment. For example, you are in an auditorium, definitely for most of the people their concentration or they are going to attend to the speaker or their words. There are a lot of things in the environment like AC, the other people, teachers, and some other things like if it is raining. There are a lot of things, but you chose that what kind of activity you want to attend. Like you want to attend to the you want to attend to the speech that the principal is telling and not the other one. The next part is forebrain. Now forebrain is the most important part of the brain because It is responsible for all cognitive, emotional and motor activities in our body. It consists of your hypothalamus, thalamus, limbic system and cerebrum. The first is hypothalamus, that is the smallest structure of the brain. It has a lot of function. First, it regulates the physiological responses which are involved in your motivational and emotional behavior, like your eating, sleeping, temperature regulation and sexual arousal. It also tries to regulate the internal environment of the body, like your blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, and it also regulates the secretion of hormones from different endocrine glands. The cerebral cortex consists of 4 lobes. So first is frontal lobe, which is related to various cognitive functions like attention, perception, learning, memory, problem solving, but it also exerts inhibitory effects on autonomic and emotional responses. Then comes your parietal lobe. Now it is concerned with cutaneous sensation. Cutaneous sensation means it is related to skin and their coordination with visual and auditory sensation. For example, your skin got few drops of hot water, definitely you sense it, but with that your auditory and visual sensation takes place. Now this function is played by your parietal lobe. Then comes your temporal lobe. Now it is concerned with processing of the auditory information. For example, you are in a class and you are listening to your teacher, definitely you are processing the auditory information. Then it also stores the memory of symbolic sound, words, helps in understanding the written languages, speech. The fourth one is occipital lobe, which is concerned with visual information. It helps in getting the visual impulses and understanding or having the memory of visual stimuli and color visual orientation. Now from this we got a very broad idea about how brain act as a well coordinated unit where all the parts they contribute their functions separately. The next part is your spinal cord. Now spinal cord is connected to medulla of the brain on one part and it is free at the tail end. Now it plays a role of a huge cable which transfer innumerable messages to central nervous system. It carries the sensory information or sensory impulses from low part of the body to the brain, and it also carries the motor impulses originating from the brain to all over the body. It also is involved in simple reflexes that need sensory nerves. Then is your reflex action. Now it means the actions which are it happens automatically without any conscious decision of the person. Now we have certain reflexes which are automatic, and it is because of the evolution of our body. So example is eye blinking reflex. They also serve to protect the organism from the possible threats that preserve the life, like knee jerk, pupil constriction, pulling away a hand from very hot and cold water and so on. So in this situation the messages doesn't get sent to the brain but it gets sent to the spinal cord because it wants a quick response in it. With this I want to end this video. If you like my explanation, please like the video, subscribe to my channel. If you have any kind of doubt, let me know in the comment section. I would love to clear it all, and I will link the handwritten notes in the description. So with this, goodbye and have a great day.